Alright, let's talk about the Western Conference playoffs. I made a video yesterday talking about the Western Conference playoffs, but it wasn't good enough, I thought, so here I am making it today. So the first series we're going to talk about is Colorado versus Nashville. In the regular season, the Colorado Avalanche's power play finished 7th at 24%, and they were 15th on the penalty kill at 79.7%. Nashville's power play finished 6th at 24.4%, and their penalty killing was 18th at 79.2%. I think this series is going to be a lot closer than the standings indicate. With Nashville's great power play, I think they could use that to their advantage, considering the fact that during the regular season, Colorado's penalty killing was just okay. I think Colorado is the better group of forwards, better group of defensemen, even though Nashville, they've got a pretty good group back there as well. Obviously, with Roman Josi leading the way, having a Norris Trophy type season. Cale Makar also another guy who could be a candidate for the Norris Trophy. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see those two guys play against each other. And in net, I think they're even. So like I said, this series maybe not as far out of reach for Nashville as it looks. But although I think Nashville's going to give Colorado a hard time, I think the Avalanche are going to win this series. I think Colorado wins it in 7. Next up, we have Calgary versus Dallas. During the regular season, the Flames' power play finished 10th at 22.9%. Their penalty kill was 6th at 83.2%. And Dallas's power play was 11th at 22.4%. And their penalty kill was 19th at 79%. This is probably the most lopsided series, in my opinion, throughout the whole NHL. I think Calgary has the better forwards. I think Dallas has the better defensemen, though, especially, considering they have Miro Heiskanen and John Klingberg back there. Those guys are real game changers for Dallas. But in goal, for me, is where Calgary really separates themselves from Dallas. Jacob Markstrom was outstanding all season long. Yeah, he wasn't great towards the end of the season, but I think he's going to play really well for Calgary. He found his game a little bit the last couple games or so, and I think he's going to continue on how he played throughout most of the regular season. And if he does that, Dallas is really in trouble. It sounds like Braden Holtby's going to be coming back for them, so we'll have to see what happens there. Scott Wedgwood probably going to be the goalie. Maybe Jake Ottinger. I don't know. We'll have to see who Rick Bowness puts in net. But yes, I think Calgary will win this series. I think they will win it in 5. Next up, Minnesota versus St. Louis. During the regular season, the Minnesota power play was 18th at 20.5%. Their penalty kill was 25th at 76.1%, so not great at all there. St. Louis's power play was 2nd in the league at 27%, and their penalty kill was 5th at 84.1%. And I think this is the hardest series to predict out of all of them, because I can't tell if it's going to go 5 or if it's going to go 7. And if it was to go 5, I could see St. Louis taking it in 5 just because of the fact that their special teams are so much better than Minnesota's. And you never know, things could change in the playoffs for Minnesota, considering they only have to key in on St. Louis for now. So maybe their penalty killing does get better. St. Louis has the better forwards. I think Minnesota maybe has the better group of defensemen. Maybe they're even. In goal is very interesting for me, though. It's going to be interesting if Marc-Andre Fleury or Cam Talbot's going to start. Either way, both of those guys are really good. And you look at Ville Husso's probably going to start for St. Louis, not Jordan Binnington, the guy who carried them to the Stanley Cup a few years ago. Husso was great throughout the regular season. He had a .919 save percentage. And ultimately, I think this is going to come down to the better group of forwards, because I think St. Louis is more deep, and probably who's better in goal. I have to give the edge in goal probably at this point to the St. Louis Blues. And that was tough for me to do, considering the fact that both of Minnesota's goalies had great years, in my opinion. Well, pretty good years anyways. Maybe not up to the standard of Marc-Andre Fleury. For him, usually Cam Talbot was okay, looked really good at times. Like I said, I'm going to have to give the Blues the better goaltending here. I think this is going to be a tight and very competitive series, but I think St. Louis will win in 6. So last up, we have Edmonton versus Los Angeles. So during the regular season, the Oilers' power play was 3rd at 26%. Their penalty kill was 17th at 79.4%. Los Angeles' power play was not very good. It was 27th at 16.1%, and their penalty kill was 22nd at 76.7%. So Los Angeles' special teams, not very strong. Edmonton's special teams, on the other hand, were very strong. And while the Oilers' penalty kill percentage looked pretty average at just 79.4%, it was a lot better than that towards the end of the season. We have to remember that the Oilers really struggled on the penalty kill for most of the year, but I would say probably the final 4 or 5 weeks of the season, they really cleaned that up. Jay Woodcroft and his staff did a great job there. They were killing penalties at a rate of like, I don't know, over 90% or something towards the end of the season. So that's something Edmonton definitely has going for them going into this series. Edmonton has the better forwards. They have the better defensemen, especially with LA missing Drew Doughty for these playoffs. But in goal, I think Los Angeles is better. And yes, Mike Smith was outstanding for Edmonton the final stretch of the season. I'm assuming he's going to be the starter for them in the playoffs. Overall, I think Jonathan Quick is the better goalie. I don't know, there's something about Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. They can be very good, but then they can just be very inconsistent. And that's something that I think could potentially hurt Edmonton and maybe make this series a lot closer than people think it will be. I've seen some people predicting Oilers in 4 or Oilers in 5. I don't think it's going to be that far apart. I think LA is going to give Edmonton a much harder time than people think, like I said. They have to show that they're the better team, because if they take LA for granted any little bit, the Kings will hurt them. So my prediction for this series is it's going to be a lot tighter and a lot more competitive than people think. I think Edmonton will win it, but I think they will win in 7. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the Western Conference playoffs. Please let me know what you all think in the comment section below. Also, please like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.